Now, with the current economic outlook here in the US, we've seen inflation rise at an alarming rate, but we haven't seen salaries follow. So now people are looking for other ways to be able to supplement their income outside of just hoping that they'll get a raise at work. Now, this has led to an increasing amount of people who are starting to launch their own businesses from their homes. So in this video, I'll be showing you how you can get the bare bones setup that you'll need to be able to launch whatever your home-based business might be. So be sure you stay tuned. Now guys, the sole focus of this video is to how you can actually be able to get off the ground as soon as possible. I think that the biggest mistake that people make, and that I've made in the past, is I think the more complex you make your business in the beginning, the more things could go wrong and ultimately lead to you failing. I found that at times when I made things the simplest, that's when I was able to have the most amount of success, or at least if I failed, I was able to correct what mistakes I was making to eventually reach that success. But the more complex you make whatever your business is, the more pieces that you add to it, the harder it's going to be for you to figure out exactly what's causing you not to have the success that you're looking for. Now, the first thing you want to jump into is you want to have a logo, right? Now, for me, I think the best thing to do is just create a basic logo to start off. Eventually down the line, you can hire a professional designer to make you a logo that looks even better than what even better than probably what you could do yourself, right? I like to talk about the idea of Apple and how their logo changed over time. Now, if you look at Apple's first logo, it looked pretty horrible, to be honest, if you see what their logo looked like. But you kind of see that they started making iterations from there and the logo got better and better and better. But that was once they started having some sort of revenue. That's when they started improving the logo. So I typically recommend that you just create a basic logo and you use Canva, because Canva is completely free, right? And if you need to, you can upgrade to their monthly plan. They're still pretty affordable, and I'm currently on that monthly plan, but I think that you can be able to start with their regular free plan and have just as much a success or get just as much done as you need to. Now, a quick bonus, when you actually get that logo, I recommend you either create a social media page of your brand or you create it of yourself and you just incorporate your brand into whatever you're posting. Now guys, this is one piece of advice. I recommend you start with just one social media page. Don't worry about, making sure that you got a TikTok and an Instagram and a YouTube and a Twitter and everything, right? And a Facebook. I would recommend that you just focus on one page at a time. The reason why I say that, especially whenever you're just starting off, is because the more things that you have going on, the more your attention gets split. And as your attention starts getting split, it makes it harder and harder for you to be able to stay consistent. This is going to help you just be able to stay focused on getting clients and getting customers. Now, I recommend you choose one that best fits with your product or your service, right? And the idea being is this: if you're selling an aesthetic product, right, something that really looks beautiful, and that's kind of what attracts people to that product, I recommend you use Instagram, right? IG. Or else, if maybe you're selling a service that maybe it takes some time to explain, right? For example, maybe you do some sort of pool cleaning service, then you do this new pool cleaning technique and it kind of takes some time to explain it. Then it might make sense for you to use something like YouTube, where you can shoot more long form videos and try to take the time to explain and show how your product actually works, right? So those are the kind of ideas and how you want to think. You want to think about what the platform, kind of how you can use that platform and how it best fits into your business or your marketing style. Now that you have that, the next thing you're going to want to do is find a way to be able to actually accept payments, right? Something that we don't really think about is, as a business, you got to have ways for people to be able to pay you. And what I recommend is using a company called Stripe. They're going to allow you to be able to send out invoices, to be able to accept credit cards, all that jazz, right? And so the reason why I like Stripe is because they charge a fee for each transaction. So you don't actually have to pay until you get paid. And that's where the benefit comes. It makes them a no-brainer to use, especially when you're just starting off and you're trying to keep those costs low. Now, also guys, what I'm going to do is I'll link to a video that I've shot in the past that details how to actually set up your LLC. So it's going to show you how to actually create an LLC from scratch. The reason why I want to mention that is because with Stripe, you're going to want to run all those payments through an LLC, and that goes into a business bank account. I wouldn't recommend you having all this going to your personal account. Maybe when you start off and you're just testing an idea, that might be okay, but you need to, as soon as you can, spin everything off into an LLC. Now, for those of you guys who actually need to take applications, or you want to have someone fill out a form for you to reach out to them, I recommend you use something called Google Forms, okay? Now, this is a free tool from Google's G G Suite. I think now they might call it like Google Workplace, or there's like another name for it. But what this does is it's actually going to allow you to be able to create forms that people can fill out to give you their information. Now, this is going to be great for you if you need to reach out to people before you can actually offer your product or service. For example, maybe you sell something that's a little higher ticket. So let's say you have a service that costs $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. People typically won't book that right off the bat. They're not going to immediately just book that off of a web page necessarily. More than likely, they're going to want to talk to you first before they sign up for that. Especially if you have products that get into that 10,000 and more range, for sure you're going to have to hop on a call with them, right? And so this form allows you to be able to collect their information for you to be able to reach out to them in a free way, a free manner. Now, once you've actually gotten their information, you got to actually set up sales calls, right? And for that, I recommend Google Meets. Now, I recommend video calls over voice calls because I think for me, you get a lot more of a connection if you can see somebody's face versus just listening to their voice, right? So I typically recommend you use Google Meets. And again, it's going to be, if you're already using Google Forms, it's going to be easy for you to use Google Meets. It's going to be in the same family of software. And this is going to be the best option that I found. And it's a free tool, right? And just think of it just like Zoom. But for me, it's been a lot easier to use. And it's, again, free. That's what I love about it. The other benefit is with the link that gets created, no one has to download any software. For example, with Zoom, unless they've changed it, when I used to use Zoom, the issue was if I wanted to click on a Zoom link, I now had to download Zoom, had to make sure I had the application, whatever the case was. But with Google Meets, if someone clicks on that link, they can open it in a web browser, they can open it in whatever, right? It's really adaptable to whatever system that the person who clicks on that the URL is actually running, which is what I love about it. Now, once you have all of that, the next thing you're going to want is a landing page. A landing page, the easiest way to think about it is it's kind of like a one-page website. And it's something where you just have that page to either collect information, right? So you send people to this page just so they can enter their email, their phone number, or maybe it's a one-pager website that lets you sell a product, right? But either way, it's really typically going to be one page, maybe a few other pages, but it has one sole focus. It's not like a website where there's buttons they can click and take them to all different parts. They can really end up in whatever direction. Now, the company I recommend is a company called Lead Pages. They're extremely easy to use and they have a pretty reasonable price for you to be able to sign up for a plan with them. Now, once you're ready to actually create a website to market your brand, I actually recommend that you use a combination of the Lead Pages and Stripe instead, right? And the reason being is you can actually create a product or service page on Lead Pages, right? And then you can link directly to a checkout page that you created on Stripe. And guys, this is probably the easiest way I can think of starting off. And it's pretty much all you're going to be doing is paying for the Lead Pages software, which I think is going to range between $20 to $40 a month. And Stripe is going to be free. They pretty much just take a fee or commission off of whatever payments that you're processing. And guys, that's pretty much the gist of it. This should give you a solid starting point to be able to help you get yourself off the ground. Guys, make sure that you check out my other video on how to actually set up and incorporate your LLC for more of like the legal side of your business. And on there, we're going to be able to touch on everything from incorporating companies, bank accounts, email addresses, and more to help you make sure that you're structuring your business correctly once you're ready to grow. So I'll link that to that video up here somewhere. And guys, I appreciate you watching. Be sure you hit that subscribe button if you found this information valuable. Also, make sure you throw a like on this video so I know I'm on the right track, and comment down below what other information that you might want to hear as well. Alrighty. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace.